Okay, the sun's going down. I'm losing light. So we're going to continue the story. So when I got to the St. Thomas Convention Center where the St. Thomas evacuees were in Puerto Rico, they were saying that FEMA was about to take over the convention center, and I was not to be admitted or accepted in, and for me to go back to where I was, or something like that, of that nature. There was also an option to get a federal emergency loan to buy a plane ticket. Um, After sparring back and forth, I had two social workers with me that were helping me through this process that had picked me up. One of them picked me up from the shelter I was at in downtown San Juan. Um, and the other one was a friend of the social worker I was with, and they were super nice and passionate about helping me. And so they ended up calling a plug that had contacted Southwest Airlines. And Southwest airline woman I spoke to told me to go to the terminal, the Southwest terminal, and to don't check in my bag, don't do anything, just get on the plane. They should allow me on. I did not know this, but Southwestern were um, offering humanitarian flights to people trying to get out of San Juan. When I got there, the lady at the gate told me that there was no more room, and that the lady that I had spoken to, although it showed on her computer that there was space, they were only filling up the plane to 165 capacity because they were not weighing luggage, and so therefore they couldn't fill up the plane. So I told the social worker to just, and she told me that I could stay overnight and maybe I might catch a flight in the morning. So that's what I did. I stayed overnight for hopes to catch a flight the next day. And that was an experience. There was a guy that was right behind me in line. Well, first I was in the wrong line. I was not in the line that where people were lining up overnight. There was a line that was already formed for overnight. The lady at the terminal told me to be like the first or second person in line to make sure I got a seat. And she wasn't lying. She was not lying about that. I was number 30. So there was definitely no guarantee for me to get a seat. There was this Caucasian brother behind me and his wife. And he took it upon himself to go and make a list all night long. People were coming. All night and all morning long, people were coming. Because I lined up at like 2 in the afternoon. 2:30 in the afternoon. And CNN was there, and they were like fascinated by this list that he was making so that he can show the Southwest people in the morning and then keep people from cutting in front of each other. But honey, when I tell you, when them Southwest people came, he was willing to jump me and the 5 people in front of me, and he actually paid the people off so that he can get his flight. I don't know that to be a fact, but he was like the first person. I saw him walking around talking to people. I did see him pay someone to get his bag checked by the USDA. That's just what I'm gathering from what my eyes could see and me piecing together what was actually going on there. So he got on the plane, the first plane in the morning. And so we were all left there watching other people get on the plane before us, even though we were waiting all night. They were telling us that the friends and family of people who worked for Southwest were boarding first, or the first plane. And then there were people that were standing in line like next to us in like the place where I was sitting at first. You know, they got on the plane before us, but they weren't there before us though. We were so mad and agitated and tired and hungry and like just really willing to like we just at first we were a team and then it was every man for themselves, you know. And so when the time came and we finally lined up and they chose people to get on the plane, I was like one of the last people they picked. And I have never felt more relieved in my life. I didn't realize how much I wanted to leave. I didn't know that I was going to feel so relieved to have a seat on the plane and be leaving. I definitely knew that I did not want to spend another night at that airport. That was so nerve-wracking and uncomfortable, and just not knowing whether or not what they were saying is true. They kept saying that you guys are definitely, everybody's getting on the plane today. Lying, lying, you know. I guess they were trying to not get stampeded. Because there were hundreds of people waiting in line at that point. The word had gotten out that Southwest was allowing people to get on these humanitarian flights. So I flew to Orlando, the 3:30 flight, and when we got on the plane, Southwest was so nice, so generous. They gave us food and snacks and drinks and sandwiches, and it was great. It's a great feeling. When I got to Orlando, I immediately got a connecting flight to Atlanta, and now I'm back in Atlanta. So what's happening now? I am in the process of creating an awakening academy. And I'm glad I said this on camera because I got guidance from my guides to start an awakening academy. And I don't have many subscribers, or not a lot of people watch my videos. So it's not like I can reach out and ask you guys what you would want. But if you're watching and you have any ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. I read them. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope my story helped you in some way. And I would like to tell you that I love you all. And I'm grateful to be here and be back in Atlanta. I see Atlanta through different eyes. It's a very beautiful place after leaving such a destitute area after the hurricanes. The hurricane ravages everything and it leaves nothing, and it changes your life forever. And according to my friend Yoshi, that's what it's supposed to do. That's what the ancestors want. The ancestors are crying out for us to focus on the spirit world right now. And as the sun sets on me right now, I'm going to let it set on this video and bid you all farewell from my hurricane stories. And I will talk to you about various subjects as soon as I possibly can. Have a very good evening.